Thing on. There we go. Can you hear me? How's everybody doing tonight? Good. Ooh, man. How many of you have been out in the sun lately? Yes? Okay, anybody a little tired tonight because you've kind of been out in the sun a little bit too long? Okay, a few of you. All right, well, don't fall asleep on us. We've got a really great night planned. If you don't know who I am, my name's Alex. I'm the student ministries pastor here, and I'm here with my lovely friend, Grace. Everybody say hi, Grace. All right, so we are going to start off tonight with a game. You guys up for a game? A few of you? Man, you guys, like, we need to pump some energy into all of you tonight. All right, so this game is Life Group v. Life Group, so go ahead and get in your groups. Right now, if you're not already with your groups, go ahead and get with them. As you get in your group, we're going to explain the rules, okay? So this game, I'll give you a second to get in your groups. Okay, so this game is going to involve you looking up at the screen. You are going to record your answers. All right, I'm going to wait. Everybody's still getting in their groups. All right, clap your hand if you can hear my voice. Clap your hands twice if you can hear the sound of my voice. Clap your hands 3 times if you can hear the sound of my voice. Awesome. Okay, so this game is called, let's throw the slide up here, My Famous Child. All right, so how this game works is you are going to see a series of family portraits of a well-known celebrity, except they are not going to be in the picture. You're going to see a picture of their parents, and you have to guess what celebrity is missing from the family picture. Don't worry, it's multiple choice. So you have 3 guesses. when we call time, you're going to write the answer on your clipboard. So leaders, go ahead and write your group's answers down. If you get it correct, you get a point. And the team with the most points at the end is the winner. All right? Everybody clear? Okay. Grace, do you want to introduce the first slide? All right, go ahead and read those names. Who's missing?
We have Tom Hiddleston, Ryan Gosling, and Ryan Reynolds.
All right. All right. Write your guesses down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who is it? Ryan Reynolds. If you guess Ryan Reynolds, you get a point. All right, guys, let's check out the next one. Okay, it's good-looking parents. We have Ben Whishaw, Benedict Cumberbatch, or Joe Jonas. Who's missing from the picture? All right, let's count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who is it? It's Benedict Cumberbatch. Doctor Strange. All right. Grace, you want to read the next one?
We have Lady Gaga,
Lord?
Lord, and Billie Eilish.
Do you have any guesses? Yeah? I know them also. All right, you want to count it down, Grace?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Billie Eilish. All right. All right, let's check out the next one, guys. Is it Drake? Is it Kanye West or Jay-Z? Who is missing from this picture with his father? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who is it? Drake. Did anybody get that one? Anybody? Okay. Girls up front got it. You girls got it? You guys got it? Okay, awesome. All right, what do we have, Grace, on the next one?
Dave Navarro, Jason
Momoa.
and The Rock.
I never knew how to pronounce his last name. Jason Samoas? Like the cookie? All right, Grace is going to count it down.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Who is it? Oh! Jason Momoa. Did anybody think it was The Rock? Did anybody? Yeah. Yeah, that would have been my guess too. All right, let's check out the next one. Katy Perry, Adele, or Taylor Swift? Who is it? Who could it be? All right, we're counting it down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who do we have? It's T Swift herself. Yes, indeed. All right. Grace, go ahead and introduce the next family.
We have Tom Holland, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Chris Pratt.
All right. Don't give away the answer, because you might be giving another team a point. All right. Grace, how about you count it down?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's Tom Holland. It's good old Spidey. All right, let's check out the next family. Who do we have? All right, do we have Denzel Washington? Is it Will Smith or could it be Sam Jackson? Who is it? Go ahead and write your answers down. We're gonna find out who it is in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's Will Smith. It's Will Smith. All right. All right, Grace, you want to introduce, I think, the last family? Nope, second to last.
We have John Boyega, Jamie Foxx, or Donald Glover.
All right, who do you think? These are hard last names, aren't they? All right, Grace is going to count it down.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Who is it? It's John Boyega. If you're a Star Wars fan. All right. let's introduce you to the second to last now. I have no idea how many there are. All right, is it Justin Bieber, Harry Styles, or Shawn Mendes? Whose family is this? All right, count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is Justin Bieber. It's the Biebs himself. All right, Grace, let's go ahead and introduce our last family.
We have Jennifer Lawrence, Alyssa Violet, and Selena Gomez.
Don't give it away by shouting it out too loud. You're gonna help another team out. All right, Grace, you wanna count it down?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's Selena Gomez. All right, guys, we're gonna quick go around the room. How many points do you have? Go ahead and hold up your hands. How many points? 9?
We got 10.
You have 10? Does anybody have more than 10? More than 10, how many do you have? 11, how many? Did you guys have 11? All right, you ladies are the winners! Good job, all right. Very cool, all right, you guys can head back to your seats. We got a couple more announcements for you, and then we're gonna get started.
If you got baptized this Sunday, we're just very excited for you taking your next step of faith.
Woo! Yes. Also, guys, coming up, again, we missed last week. We missed you guys. We are continuing in our series called Plot Twist. So even though we know Easter happened on Sunday, we're talking through the Easter story, and it's a story that really is all about our lives as we're following Jesus. So even though the event of Easter came and went, the narrative and the story and everything that set that up, like that's why we have faith, and we're going to talk more about that tonight. We're really excited to dive into that. Also, if you are a senior here tonight, just wanted to remind you, we're going to be shooting a short senior video at the end, so don't split, don't leave to life group, stay put here in the auditorium. We're going to do that. Leaders as well, hang out. We're going to be doing that afterwards as well. So if I see you leaving, I will chase you down. Awesome, guys.
Let's pray. Dear Jesus, thank you so much for bringing us all here today. Please be with the message and the worship, and thank you for all your blessings. In Jesus' name, amen.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Wow,
How's
come on,
everybody
guys.
doing tonight? Woo! So good to be with you guys tonight. We're excited to worship with you and to hear the message and all that good stuff. So let's get ready to worship.
Set apart from the ash, I am born again, forever safe in the Savior's hands. You are more than my words can say. I'll follow you, Lord, for all my days. Fix my eyes, following your ways, forever free in unending grace. You are, 'cause you are my freedom. We lift you higher. Higher, your love, never ending. Oh, oh, oh. You are alive in us. Nothing can take your place. You are all we need. Your love has set us free. Whoa. In the midst of the darkest night, let your love be a shining light, breaking chains that were holding me. sent your son down and set me free. Now everything of this world will fade. I'm pressing on till I see your face. I believe that your will be done, and I won't stop till your kingdom come. 'Cause you are my freedom. We lift you higher, lift you higher. Your love, never ending. Oh, oh, oh. You are alive in us. Nothing can take your place. You are all we need. Your love has set us free. Oh. Come on, put your hands together tonight, you guys. We're free because of Jesus. That's a lot to celebrate. Let's keep singing. Sing you are. 'Cause you are my freedom. We lift you higher, lift you higher. Your love, never ending. Oh, oh, oh. You are alive in us. Nothing can take your place. You are all we need. Your love has set us free. Oh, you are alive in us.
All right, guys. Go ahead if you haven't yet and you want to take notes tonight. We've got clipboards in the back and pens. If you want to do that, you can make your way back there. Man, it's so good to see you all here tonight. Like I said, we're going to be kind of continuing on our story that we've been in. And, you know, I know, guys, sometimes with things like the Easter story, especially if you grew up in church like me, it's one of those things, it's like every year we celebrate it. And unfortunately, what sometimes happens when things are familiar, we forget how powerful they are. Like, we are worshiping the risen King, like Jesus is alive, and what does that mean for us? Like, that, it should mean everything, and something we should be so excited about. But we've been talking in this series about these plot twists that happen in our lives and happen certainly in the story of Jesus. And we're going to kind of dive into another one of those today. I thought it'd be kind of fun to start off today with a little plot twist of our own. So actually, I need some volunteers for this. And in order for this to work, I need somebody to come up and bring like 4 good friends. Like, you need to know these people because you need to know who they are. Okay, so if you know that you can bring up some friends, let's. I'm trying to think of somebody that I don't normally pick. All right, in the back, Cooper. How about you come up, grab 4 friends. Okay, so pick 4 friends and come up to the front. Let's give them a round of applause as they head up. All right, let's come on up, guys. Come on up. Okay, so don't worry, I'm not gonna hurt you or anything, okay? So here's what I need. It's okay, it's all right. So Cooper, I need you to sit in this chair, okay? Don't worry, we're not gonna electrocute you or anything, all right? Okay, so Cooper, here's what we're gonna do, okay? You're gonna wear this blindfold, and go ahead and put that on. So take a look real quick. Do you know who's behind you? Do you know these people? Do you know their names? Okay, so you'd say you're pretty familiar with them. They're good friends of yours. That's why you asked them up here, right? Yeah. Awesome. Okay, go ahead and put the blindfold on, okay? So what Cooper's going to do, each of them, and you guys can stand right here, each of them are going to take turns. They're going to take turns poking you in the back, all right? So they're not going to poke you hard, but what you need to do is you need to figure out who poked you. Do you think you can do that? Like you said, you knew them pretty well, okay? So you can probably differentiate who poked them. Okay, you think you can do it? All right, come on, guys, come over here. Okay, all right, buddy. Who do you think it was? Allie. Nope, wasn't Allie. Who do you think it was? Maya? Was it Maya? No, it wasn't Maya. Who was that? That was definitely Allie. You are absolutely wrong. All right, one more. You're not doing a great job, Coop. I'm surprised by this. You said you knew these guys pretty well. Okay. What about that one? Luke? Was it Luke? No. Coop, go ahead and take your blindfold off, buddy. You're awesome, man. So do you feel deceived right now? Are you going to trust me ever again? So it doesn't feel good to be deceived, does it? Especially by somebody that you think that you could trust. And Cooper, I hope you know that you can trust me. I won't ever deceive you again, okay, buddy? Can we give him a round of applause for being a good sport? Good job, Coop. Awesome job, man. All right, yeah. So being deceived does not feel good. It's not fun. And how many of you guys have ever felt deceived by somebody before? Yeah? So it's not a good feeling. And what we're going to be talking about today in our plot twist is that in our life, eventually you will experience some sort of betrayal in your life, where somebody that you thought you trusted does something that feels like it completely broke that trust and you feel betrayed. Now, I don't know about you, and maybe you haven't really experienced what you would call a huge betrayal in your life, and that's okay if that's not you. But guaranteed, sometime in your life, you will. And maybe for you, again, maybe you didn't have a giant betrayal in your life that felt like this huge blow up in your life. Maybe you have experienced something like this. Maybe you or a friend spoke negatively about each other. Maybe you guys let the other person down, or maybe you chose other friends' interests over the other person. Now, one disagreement or one conflict isn't a reason to just completely stop hanging out with somebody. I mean, we kind of see that like in cancel culture. I feel like a lot of people, they do that. They're like, well, I don't agree with you, or you said something I don't like, so I'm completely blocking you out of my life. I don't think that's healthy or a reason to do that. But there are definitely deal breakers in relationships, aren't there? Like, would you guys agree there are some lines that can't be crossed, and if they do, that's a deal breaker for you, and like, I'm sorry, but we can't be friends anymore. Anybody say, I've got some deal breakers in my life? If a friend were to cross that, that would be the end for me. Like, I wouldn't be cool with that. Yeah, some of you guys, and I'd venture probably more of you have some of those deal breakers in your life. And so as we're talking about this idea of having relationship with Jesus, maybe the thought has crossed your line, well, wait, does Jesus have deal breakers with me? Like, are there lines that if I cross, Jesus is going to look at me and say, you know what? I was good with you, Alex, but now it's too much, and I'm done with you. Like, maybe you've thought about that. Maybe you've wondered, like, if I've already messed things up too much. Like, my life is such a wreck, and I've made so many bad decisions in my life. Like, Jesus could never love me. He would never accept me because of the way that I've lived my life. Like, is that how Jesus operates? So, in Jesus' story, as we've talked about, it's full of plot twists. It's full of these twists and turns. It's full of these unexpected moments that were unexpected to the people following Jesus. They were not unexpected to him. Like, he knew that they were happening or were going to happen. But sometimes in those plot twists, Jesus was the cause of those moments. Sometimes he did things that caused these kind of rifts or changes or upsets in his followers' lives. Sometimes it was other people making decisions that completely changed things up in their lives. But one of the most well-known days in Jesus' life is a day that we now call Palm Sunday. And we celebrated it a couple weeks ago. And maybe you've heard it and you're like, I have no idea what that means or why it's called Palm Sunday. But it's this day where Jesus rode into this big city called Jerusalem. And he rode in the city on a donkey. And while he was riding in, people and crowds who were following him like tore off palm branches from trees, and they were calling out his name, saying, Jesus, you're amazing, and you're our king, and all these amazing things. This is that moment recorded in Matthew. We're going to read this together. It says this: as Jesus and the disciples approached Jerusalem, they came to the town of Bethphage on the Mount of Olives. Jesus sent two of them on ahead, and he said, go into the village over there. As soon as you enter it, you'll see a donkey tied there with its colt beside it. Untie them and bring them to me. If anyone asks what you're doing, just say, the Lord needs them, and he will immediately let you take them. This took place to fulfill the prophecy that said, tell the people of Jerusalem, look, your king is coming to you. He is humble, riding on a donkey's colt. The two disciples did as Jesus commanded, and they brought the donkey and the colt to him and threw their garments over the colt, and he sat on it. Most of the crowd spread their garments on the road ahead of him, and the others cut branches from the trees and spread them on the road. Jesus was in the center of the procession, and the people all around him were shouting, praise God for the Son of David. Blessing on the one who comes in the name of the Lord. Praise God in the highest heaven. The entire city of Jerusalem was in an uproar as he entered. Jesus has got celebrity status at this point. Everybody wants to go see him. Who is this? They asked. And the crowds replied, it's Jesus, the prophet from Nazareth in Galilee. And so this might seem kind of strange to us now. Like if you were standing in the streets of Bryan, Ohio, and you saw some dude riding a donkey, you'd be like, huh, what's happening? Is it bring your donkey to school day? Like what's going on? But what Jesus was doing was actually a really, really important statement. And we're not sure, based on the text, if the crowds got this or not, but Jesus riding in on a donkey was making a statement, because if somebody was coming in as a ruler or as a king or a conquering hero, they wouldn't ride a donkey. They would ride the tallest horse they could find. They would be up as high as they could to show everyone around them, I'm important, look at me, and I'm here to change things up. Jesus didn't do that. He rides in on what was considered kind of a stock animal, something that was used not for riding on. Jesus chooses that because he's making a statement that I'm coming humbly. I'm not coming as people expected. So again, it's not clear if they knew that's what Jesus was doing, but it is clear that they were really excited about Jesus. And many of them were excited because Jesus had healed a bunch of people. He'd been doing all these cool miracles, and they were just like, who is this guy? And we want to figure out who he is, and we want to follow and see what's going on with him. And so with that kind of welcome, guys, again, reminding you that Jesus had these 12 disciples, right? He had these guys that had been following him for 3 years. So picture somebody that you've known really well for the past 3 years of your life. You know everything about them. You've eaten together. You spent time with that person. Like, they're probably thinking, yeah, we're with that guy, right? Like, you have a newfound celebrity friend. You're like, yep, I'm his friend, right? You want my autograph too? Oh, cool. Like, they were excited, and none of them could have expected with that grand entrance into Jerusalem how it was about to end. What plot twist was about to unfold for them. So again, plot twist, spoiler alert, only a few days later after this triumphal entry into Jerusalem, Jesus will be tried and killed. He'll be crucified. And these very people who are shouting Jesus' name and excited and are throwing palm branches on the ground saying, he's our king, he's amazing, will be the very ones to shout, crucify him. We don't want him here. We want him killed. So if you've ever seen a movie with a major plot twist, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't like predictable movies. Like, I want to be surprised. Like, that's why we go to see a movie, right? You know, in those movies, sometimes the plot twist comes out of nowhere, and you're like, whoa, I did not see that coming. But a lot of times what happens is they kind of put these breadcrumbs in the movie before the event happens. So when it happens, you're like, oh, that's what they're setting up. Awesome. And that's kind of what Jesus did. Like, Jesus, in his time with his disciples, he's giving them these clues and sharing what was about to happen. Jesus told his friends and followers that this trip was going to end in his death. And they didn't understand that. They were confused by that. They're like, what are you talking about, Jesus? Like, why are you going to die? We're not understanding you. But he shares pretty plainly with them that that's what was going to happen. The religious and political leaders in the city had already set traps for Jesus. Like, they already had plans to end his life because they were jealous and they didn't want the competition. They didn't know who Jesus was. And for centuries, prophets, people that God sent to share God's truth with God's people, they told about this coming Messiah that was going to be God's son, and he was going to die for our sins so we could have a relationship with God. Jesus was talked about, but the people didn't see it. They didn't understand. And so, as the crowd was turning on him, this wasn't the only betrayal that Jesus experienced before his death. So one of Jesus' closest followers, and maybe you've heard about him, a guy by the name of Judas, was again one of the 12. He was one of Jesus' closest followers who spent time with Jesus, who spent 3 years like learning from him and eating meals with him and telling jokes and all those things. And yet, here's what happens. Then Judas Iscariot, one of the 12 disciples, went to the leading priests and asked, how much will you pay me to betray Jesus to you? And they gave him 30 pieces of silver. So from that time on, Judas began looking for an opportunity to betray Jesus. So Judas eventually decides to kind of band together this group of soldiers to find Jesus in the cover of night and have Jesus arrested. And so Judas agreed to betray his teacher and all of his friends, everything that he had believed in for the past 3 years, for 30 pieces of silver. And it's hard to say exactly how much that is in our currency, but there's an estimate that it was probably between maybe $90 to $500 to betray his best friend, to betray somebody that he had followed and believed in. And the logical question that you might be asking is, why in the world would he do that, right? Like, why on earth? Like, what a terrible person to do something like that. And again, absolutely, this is awful. This is a terrible plot twist. Like, your best friend, like, selling you out for basically a video game console. Like, why on earth would he do that? And I think for Judas, and not to cut him some slack, but maybe to not just instantly go, well, Judas is terrible, and I would never be Judas. Because I venture to say, guys, we have all been like Judas from one time or another. Because I think it was so much more than the money for Judas. Like, think about it. He has hung his entire life on who Jesus is and who he said he was. But Judas probably had in his mind a picture of who Jesus was going to be. Oh, he's going to be this conquering hero. He's going to be the celebrity, and I can just follow, and it's going to be awesome. Jesus is going to do things that's going to be amazing, and he just didn't understand who Jesus really was. And he probably was thinking to himself, I don't want to throw away everything that I've worked for. This guy is going to get arrested and killed, and then probably me next. Like, what have I gotten myself into? And I wonder if Judas felt like all his hard work and all this time was just about to get flushed down the toilet. Because here's the deal, guys. We can all make pretty terrible decisions for ourselves and the people around us when we're scared, can't we? Like, how many of you guys have made decisions in your life that you look back on and go, man, that was a really poor choice because you were scared, you were worried about self-protection, right? We can do some pretty terrible things and lose complete focus and lose sight on what's truly important and true when we're so overwhelmed by fear and doubt and anxiety. And I think Judas kind of fell into that. And so, what do we see happen? After Judas turns Jesus over to the authorities, there's this long night that awaits Jesus. Again, he's going to get interrogated. He's going to have a bunch of people spread false witness about him, and eventually he gets sent to the Roman official in the area that basically made all the decisions on whether somebody lives or dies. Jesus goes to Pilate. And so Pilate decides, after interrogating Jesus and talking to him, that he can't find anything wrong with Jesus. And Pilate actually vouches for him. He's like, I don't believe this man is guilty. Like, I want to set him free. But the religious leaders had already stirred the crowd up and gotten them to believe that Jesus needed to be put to death. And so instead of setting Jesus free, Pilate agrees to set somebody else free who'd been in prison and have Jesus crucified. And this is where they turned on him. So we read in Matthew 27, Pilate responded, "Then what do I do with Jesus who is called the Messiah?" They shouted back, "Crucify him." "Why?" Pilate demanded. "What crime has he committed?" But the mob roared even louder, "Crucify him." So Pilate saw that he wasn't getting anywhere and that a riot was developing, so he sent for a bowl of water and he washed his hands before the crowd. Just a symbol of, I'm washing my hands free of this. This is not on me anymore. He said, "I'm innocent of this man's blood. The responsibility is yours." And all the people yelled back, "We will take responsibility for his death and our children." So Pilate released Barabbas to them, and he ordered Jesus flogged with a lead-tipped whip, and then turned him over to the Roman soldiers to be crucified. So guys, the same crowd that was cheering Jesus and singing his praises and rejoicing that he had come was the exact same crowd that were screaming and demanding for his crucifixion. In less than a week, a crowd that stopped worshiping or that stopped to worship him were now demanding his execution and humiliation instead. So Jesus faced betrayal after betrayal through his life, but especially in the days leading up to his death. He not only had a crowd of people who didn't really know who he was turn on him, but he had some of his very best friends who he trusted, who he spent time with, completely turn their backs on him and deny that they even knew who he was. And so in this way, Jesus actually carried out the biggest plot twist, because in those moments where the people that he knew the most betrayed him, Jesus does something that probably most of us wouldn't do. He chooses to forgive and to love anyways. And so Jesus takes the betrayal, and instead of seeking revenge against people that betrayed him, he seeks their forgiveness. Jesus chooses to love and forgive instead. And so we read in the New Testament, the Apostle Paul, he kind of shares, I think, a really good picture of what Jesus was doing. In Colossians 1, he says this, "For he has rescued us from the kingdom of darkness and transferred us into the kingdom of his dear Son, who purchased our freedom and forgave our sins." So guys, how does this apply to us? I think so many times we tend to write people off that hurt us, or it feels like betrayal has happened. And for some people, you may very well be justified in that. Like, they did hurt you. They did break your trust. But guys, so many times I think we're so quick to point the other finger and be bitter and angry over what somebody did that we can't move past it. Now, I'm not saying that every single situation means you need to be best friends with that person again, especially if they are a really toxic person and they're not a safe person to be around. Obviously, boundaries need to happen. But so many times I think we tend to look at somebody else and go, I will never forgive you. I will never move past this. And we stay in this really dangerous place of we become toxic ourselves and we forget what Jesus came to do in the first place. Because guys, we are Judas. We have betrayed Jesus. We have done things in our life that we've turned our backs on God, and God has never once turned his back on us. Jesus looks at you and he sees you with a heart of compassion and love. It doesn't matter what you've done. Jesus will never think of you any differently. He loves you. Again, maybe for you, you think that in order for Jesus to love me, I have to do this perfectly. I can't have any mess ups. I can't make any mistakes. And that's just not who we see in the person of Jesus. So again, guys, maybe for you, maybe you have turned your back on God or on Jesus. Maybe you've done that through making other things more important than your relationship with him. Or you care way more about your image, how you appear to other people. You care more about what somebody else thinks about you than how God really thinks about you. Maybe you've hurt somebody that he's created and loves. Or maybe you refuse to make things right when you've done something harmful. There might be those reasons why we've turned our back on Jesus, but here's the good news, guys, is that Jesus still looks at you with a heart of love and compassion and wants you to know that he's still waiting for you. He's right there. Again, there's so many reasons why we might feel stained, we might feel broken or unfixable, but that's exactly why Jesus came, to rescue us from sin and from death. And so there's nothing that you can do that will make Jesus turn his back on you. But maybe today, maybe you need to actually turn to him. Like, you might be sitting here in this room today, and maybe you truly have never turned to Jesus. And what I mean by that is maybe there's something that you need to make right with God. Maybe there's something that you've been running from and going back to, that you just feel like if God really knew what was going on, like he would reject you. Know that that's not true and he wants to embrace you. Do you need to turn to him tonight? Maybe you need to ask God's forgiveness for the first time. Maybe you've never done that, or maybe you just need to spend some time thanking Jesus for the ways that he's loved you. We're going to have Minda come up and lead us in this last song. As she does, guys, I just want to spend some time just in prayer. Again, this is time between you and God. Like, I do not want you looking over at your friends. I should not hear any conversations happening. Like, what is something in your life right now that either you know that you've turned your back on Jesus, and maybe tonight you need to ask God to forgive you for that, because that's available to us. Like, what Jesus did on the cross was so that way we could be forgiven and cleansed and clean, and that doesn't have to define us anymore. Or do you need to turn to Jesus? Do you need to say yes to him today? Like, have you tried everything that you can think of to find peace in your life, to find hope or some sort of sense of identity in yourself? I'm here to tell you that Jesus is the only one who can truly satisfy you, who can truly fill you up and won't leave you empty. Do you need to turn to him tonight? Again, guys, there's no mistake that you can make that's going to make Jesus turn his back on you. Because when we turn away from Jesus, he doesn't turn away from us. I'm going to pray for us, guys, and then we're just going to spend this time, just the next couple minutes. Just talk to God. If you need to talk to one of your leaders, you just tap them on the shoulder. They'd love to chat with you. We're going to just spend this time just hearing from him. God, I thank you. Thank you that what you did on the cross, sometimes it's so easy to just celebrate what you did on a day and go, well, that was great, and just move on past and not ever be impacted by the truth of your sacrifice. Jesus, we were the ones that deserved to be on that cross. You didn't do anything wrong. There's so many things in our life that have just made us feel like we're just stained and broken, and we've done so many things to run from you. But you took all of that on yourself. And you said the words, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. Jesus, you broke the power of sin and death that day. And God, I just pray that we wouldn't forget that we wouldn't just leave without realizing how powerful and amazing that is, that we don't have to live in sin and death. We don't have to live with regrets or feeling like we're just so broken beyond repair, that you've done what we couldn't do, God. Jesus, we just thank you and we worship you for what you've done. Thank you for loving us. It's in your name we pray.
When the best of me is barely breathing, when I'm not somebody I believe in, hold on to me. In the midst of light, the night is stolen, when I'm slamming all the doors you open, hold on to me. Hold on to me. Hold on to me when it's too dark to see you, when I am sure that I have reached the end. Hold on to me when I forget I need you, when I let go. Hold me again. to break in desperation underneath the weight of expectation. Oh, hold on to me. Hold on to me, yeah, Jesus. Hold on to me when it's too dark to see you. When I am sure I have reached the end. Hold on to me when I forget I need you. When I let go, hold me again. I could rest here in your arms forever, 'cause I know nobody loves me better. Hold on to me. Hold on to me. Hold on to me when it's too dark to see you. When I am sure I have reached the end. Hold on to me when I forget I need you. When I let go, hold me again. Hold on to me when it's too dark to see you, Jesus. I am sure I have reached the end. Hold on to me when I forget I need you. When I let go, hold me again. 'Cause I could rest here in your arms forever, 'cause I know nobody loves me better. Hold on to me. Hold on to me, Jesus. Hold on to me. Hold on to me.
Guys, when you have times in your life where you feel completely and utterly alone, when you feel like nobody understands you, or you feel like there's parts of you that nobody could truly love, know that we serve a God that knows exactly how that feels. And yet, in the midst of that, He showed us how we can live through that. And that we don't have to go through those times alone. You have a God who sees you, who loves you, that all you simply have to say is, God, I need you. Would you hold me? Would you walk me through this? And Jesus is right there. So guys, I hope as we leave today that you know first and foremost that you are loved. And second, take what you know and share that with people around you. Don't let what's inside of you stay there. We're meant to share that with the world around us. And you guys are going to talk more about that in life group tonight. So we love you all. As you head out tonight, just look under your chairs. We'd appreciate you grabbing your trash on your way out. But we love you all. Have a great night. We'll see you soon.